What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Harrison, and we've got a very special video for you guys today. I just got done recording my podcast, Gaming with the Broscast, with my brother, where we talked about our top 10 games of 2023. We each gave our individual top 10 list, started at 10, discussed it all the way up to number 1. So I'm going to play that discussion right after this. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite game was from 2023. Enjoy. All right. Well, Nick, it is that time for our
That time.
2023 Game of the Year top 10 list. Again, we are going to start at 10 and make our way down or up,
Uh,
up. Yeah, make our way up. And
Numerically down,
yeah, but
categorically up.
yeah, yep. um, Nick, do you want to start it or do you want me to start it?
You started off.
Okay,
Do the honors.
I'll do the honors. Okay. So at number 10, I've got Metroid Prime Remastered.
There we go.
This was my first experience for Metroid Prime. It was incredible. There was it was exactly what I would expect a first person Metroid Prime or a Metroid game to be. And it lived up to that expectation. There's a couple of weird, I wouldn't say, well, not weird, but there's a couple of spots where the checkpoint felt a little bit off. Specifically one
Phase on mines.
Phase on Mines, yep. Specifically that one. I think that's actually the
Yeah.
only one. And
Yeah.
I did not care for that final boss either. The one after you fight Ridley. And it's like that giant worm creature, I think. Because you
Yeah.
have to you have to use the different visors, and I just feel like switching the visors in that game was like super cumbersome. Like it didn't feel good at all. Hopefully they tighten that up in Prime 4. And they may have in 2 and 3. I have no idea. But hopefully they tighten that up in 4 for sure.
Yeah, that was my one gripe with that boss is like,
And no checkpoints on that boss either.
yeah, I hate when like with a boss you can only damage it for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
Like I think you should always be able to do some sort of damage to a boss, but then it opens up for a big attack,
Big attack. Yeah.
kind of like Metroid Dread. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Metroid Dread kind of acts that way, where you can, do a little bit of damage until you can do your like
Until you
kind of
get to
big.
they get like the end of the phase, or you do enough damage and like lowers its shield or
Mhm.
stance or something, then you can go in for a big volley of missiles or something. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
But yeah, Metro Prime Remastered, fantastic game, $40. Uh, stealth drop. I mean, it was awesome. Loved it.
yeah.
Nick, what's your number 10?
All right, my number 10 is Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Are you surprised to see
I
it so
thought it would be
low
a
on
little
my
bit higher
list?
on the list.
So, if you would have asked me 2 months ago when it came out, I would say this is a top five. But
I think you specifically said, yeah, it's probably gonna be a top 5.
yeah, and I 100% did too. I did every level, got all the uh, purple coins, badges, all that stuff. Um, overall, like super fantastic game. Like I think this is one of the best 2D Mario's I've played. And granted, I haven't played every 2D Mario or close to it, um, but like I mean, you kind of said this too, but it doesn't do anything incredibly different from other Mario 2D platforms. And like in my head, when I compare it to other 2D platforms that have come out recently, like Celeste and Hollow Knight and Ori, like I hold and Hollow Knight, but that one's a little bit different, but
Yeah.
I would kind of hold all those above Super Mario Wonder. And I think for that reason, it's a little bit lower on my list than
Yeah.
I initially thought it would be.
You know, that's I never thought about that, but if Nintendo made a Metroid Prime or a Metroid version of like Mario, a 2D Mario, that would
That'd be
be
sick.
absolutely incredible. Why haven't they done that? I mean, it makes perfect sense because of all the power ups and stuff. Um,
Yeah, like
man,
if you could
that
full
could be
like
so cool.
if you could get upgrades, bank them, or get power ups, bank them, and then like upgrade them too.
Yeah,
Like upgrade your basic
man,
fireball to have like three
Nintendo,
fireballs at
hire
once or
us.
something like that. Like
I don't know anything about making a video game, but I'll give you some
I'll give you some
ideas.
ideas.
Yeah, because I mean, I felt that's kind of how I felt about the badge system. I thought it was like just I felt like it was pointless. Like outside of just the badge specific levels, those were relatively interesting. I mean,
Mhm,
some were literally like 5 seconds long, which is totally fine. But outside of those specific levels, like maybe like the one with like the flying cap or the floating cap was like probably the most useful, and the rest, like why would I ever equip like the bouncing spring Mario where you can only bounce like maybe for an
that
extra
one's like a challenge
challenge
one,
if you want
yeah.
it, but yeah, the badge system it felt like underutilized
Well, the
or like
last level, like the very last level, uses all the challenge badges,
okay,
so it really made me hate all of the badges, especially the invisibility one.
gotcha.
Yeah, because that one comes into play at the very end of the game, and you have to obviously invisible, but you're going through the air, and you have to
Yeah,
jump on
I
platforms
plan
without
on
really
beating
knowing
Mario
where
Wonder.
they are.
I'm never doing the challenge stuff. That just sounds like a nightmare. I'm good. I think with 3D World and that final level, that I think that just kind of killed my vibe
Did that
for
break you
yeah, that broke me for like man.
from doing challenges?
Yeah,
Would you
from
say that that's one of the hardest levels, like, platforming levels that you've played?
probably. I mean, I thought the yeah, because yeah, I mean, probably. Well, outside of maybe like Super Meat Boy, there were some really hard ones on that one, but
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Odyssey was kind of difficult, but that was only difficult because it was like so long, and there was no checkpoints in that one either. So it's like if you mess up on one part, you gotta like, and that's what I hate too. It's like all the levels are just ridiculously long for like the final for a lot of these Mario games, and it's like, man, come on.
Mhm.
But that's I guess
Yeah.
that's the point of it. But
Point is for it to be hard, I guess, but
yeah,
there's a fine line between hard and unfair and unforgiving.
yeah. All right. Any more
Alright.
thoughts on Mario Wonder?
No.
Cool. Number 9, I think this might surprise you, Nick, but, Lies of P.
Hey!
Number
It made
9.
the list!
I love I really did enjoy this game. I love the aesthetic. I love Pinocchio vibes. Again, I've said it before, but if you were to told me this was made by FromSoft, I would believe you.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, there was I definitely had some issues with the bosses. Uh, and again, I said it before, but it's definitely a skill issue on my part. Just the pairing, I could never get the timing down.
No, I don't think it's a skill issue. I think the parrying is unforgiving
Yeah,
in this game, more
um,
so than any other
yeah,
Souls-like.
and I just could not get that timing down to save my life. Too many bosses with two full health phase fights.
Yep.
Again, I don't mind a two-phase fight. Like I thought, like Elden Ring had a pretty decent amount of them, but they were never, for the most part, there was never two full health bars. It was just one bar with with the second phase once you got about halfway down or whatever.
And if
Um,
there were, they were, like, pretty small health bars.
yeah,
Like, even with, Malenia, like,
yeah,
they went down pretty quick.
yeah. It went down super quick. And in this one, there was just some bosses like the swamp
Ugh,
monster, swamp beast, whatever, that
yeah,
just had a
that's the worst boss in
ridiculous
the game.
amount of health for both phases. It was just, I
Mhm.
mean, I think at that point, like I'd gotten past the puppet master or whatever, after the buff or after the patch they did that lowered its first health phase, which helped drastically. But yeah, once I got to the swamp monster, I was like, I was this close to just being done with it, and I got lucky and powered through it.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, just I loved a lot about that game. Really cool moments, some really cool boss fights, but yeah, some of those boss fights just weren't. Yeah,
Some of them just weren't it, man.
yeah, just weren't it.
And I think they've been patched, and a lot of them are better now
Yeah, yeah. I
than
mean, I wouldn't mind.
maybe
Like,
when
I
I played the
started
game.
like a second run. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the if it's whether it's a sequel or DLC for the Wizard of Oz stuff. I'm excited for whatever they have in
Oh,
store
yeah.
for that. Hopefully they got some feedback on the bosses and stuff like that and make them a little bit more
Yeah,
fun.
I mean, I think if they can just implement those patches earlier, like, kind of proactively play tested more,
Yeah.
I think is the key. And like these types of games always have patches. They always, adjust based off of player feedback. Like it's one of those things where you're not gonna know until a million people have played it
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they're all struggling with one boss. But um yeah, I mean that's just one thing they could improve on in any DLC or sequels.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Did
I'll
did they
talk about that
confirm that
game
that
later.
Wizard of Oz is DLC?
No, they didn't. There's a
Okay.
separate DLC,
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, but they have confirmed or they had like a small trailer for the DLC.
Well, now that it's not Mickey Mouse, it's Steamboat Willie. Now that
Steamboat
that's
Willie.
that's is in the, what's the phrase in the
Public domain.
public domain? Maybe we'll get a a Mickey
Yes.
Mouse based uh
Honestly, I mean,
Bloodborne.
I'd play it.
Yeah. Yeah, heck yeah.
It'd be pretty cool.
Um they canceled school tomorrow.
Is it snowing tomorrow?
No, it's dude.
It's one of the it's that classic North Carolina chance of
There's a
flurries.
well no, it's not even supposed to snow. It's a lot. It's supposed to be like 60 tomorrow. It's a lot of rain and wind, so they're canceling school.
Oh, okay.
But also the kids go to like a prep. They're like a charter school, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
All right, what is your yeah, I want Eliza P to be on there because I did like it a lot, but
Yeah, I feel like we both liked it I loved it. I'll talk
yeah.
about it later, but like there was a point where you and I were both like jamming with that game and
Very, yeah,
vibing
very
with it.
much so. Like I even there was like that one like after like the sewer area, you kind of get into that decrepit castle, and there's like that two-phase boss fight that I beat on my first try.
Yeah, that was wild to me because that took me, a handful of tries.
Yeah, and I was just like, all right.
It's kinda weird.
I was like, am I God right now? And then I got humbled when I got to the puppet master or whatever.
Yeah. Hey, one second, I'm gonna let snacks into the room.
Okay, sounds good. But yeah, Liza P, fantastic game, fantastic Bloodborne, like Souls-like game. I loved it a lot. And excited for whatever they do in the future. Nick is letting his little doggy in the room. Looks like she may not want to come in. We'll see.
She didn't come in.
She didn't want to.
She was pawing at the door and then she didn't want to cross the threshold.
I think sometimes animals just want to see what you're doing, and then they don't actually want to like be in the same room as you. Sometimes.
Oh yeah, she'll do that a lot. She'll be eating her food and then freak out that we aren't around and come like just
Yeah.
look at us and then go back to eating her food.
Yeah, our cat is notorious. Like I've got to the point where it's like a 3-second rule. You got 3 seconds to come in or out of the house, and then after that, you're stuck, buddy.
I need to start doing that.
Nick, what is your number 9?
All right. Speaking of Souls like, my
Okay.
number 9, Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon.
Wow. Okay.
Did you think this would be on my list or what did you think?
I thought it might have been a little bit higher. I thought
A
for
little bit
sure it was
higher?
gonna be on your list. I knew that I loved it a lot more than you did. I think same with
Yeah.
Liza P situation.
Kind of flipped there.
Okay, well that's interesting.
Um,
Okay, I like it.
yeah, I really love this game. I mean, what game came out at the same time or around the same time? Was it Starfield?
Yes, this came out a week before Starfield did. This came
Okay,
out
so I
like August 29th or 26th. It was in like late August, and I think Starfield came out the first week of September.
September. Okay, yeah, because I started this and I dropped it for Starfield, and looking back, I should have just continued playing Armored Core 6.
Yeah.
Um, but this is such a great, mech action game. I think it's a very concise game for as many missions as it has. Like it's a under 20-hour game,
Yeah.
and I feel like none of the missions waste your time at all, and
Yeah, I
and
mean
they
they're super
all they
quick.
all yeah, like all typically under 2 minutes, sometimes under a minute. Like they don't waste your time, they don't hold your hand,
Yeah,
and then
not at all.
you know yeah, and then on top of like the main missions being really fun, the individual AC battles like the arena battles, those are awesome too. Like
Oh, they're great. You
I
can
went through
like
all those, and
yeah, once you get like towards the end of the game and you've got some really strong arsenal. I mean, you can get through an arena battle within 5 seconds, 10 seconds.
yeah,
It depends. Yeah, I did. Yeah,
it's kind of crazy how build dependent some of the battles are. Like
yeah.
you can totally crush another AC in under 30 seconds in a main mission if you have the right build.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
that's just something like not every game is like that. And you
Baltius
can
might go down as like the one of the hardest bosses in FromSoft for like the
yeah,
first
the first main
main
boss.
boss. I mean, there's like that helicopter that you fight that's like kind of challenging.
No, yeah, that
Um,
one's tough, but definitely doable from the
yeah,
outset.
the
Whereas
Baltius was kind of cruel.
like I haven't sweated more
Yeah,
playing a game than I have when I was fighting Baltius.
yeah. It
Like I was like,
did you ever do New Game Plus at all?
I started it.
Okay.
I can't remember if I got to Baltius or not.
Nothing is more satisfying than fighting Baltius for the second time, New Game Plus with all your weapons and your arsenal, and just getting them.
Yeah,
30-second fight.
but nothing's worse than seeing Baltius show up again at the end of the game.
Yeah, he's. I wouldn't say the fight is nearly as difficult at the end of the game, but it's still challenging
It's
for
still
sure.
hard. It still took me 10 tries to beat.
Yeah,
Like, ah,
yeah.
that
I'll,
game
I'll
was
talk about Armored Core more in a little
mhm.
bit, but yeah,
Yeah,
I'm glad
I
it's on
think
your list. Yeah, it's great.
I think the bosses they're a real standout
Yeah,
in this game, I think.
and the
Um,
game is beautiful. Like for it being on like did it come out on Xbox One as well?
I think it did, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it runs great. And like the set pieces are really cool. Um excited for excited for Armored Core 7. I'm all in. I'm all in on AC.
Would you consider going back in time and jumping into Armored Core 5 or
I thought about it, but they're really expensive. Um unless they have them unless they have them digitally I can find.
yeah,
I haven't actually looked, but I did Amazon. I looked on Amazon. They were like 70 to 80 bucks.
damn. Okay.
So they're pretty rare, but all right. Let's see. My number 8 is Resident Evil 4.
Whoa. All right, this is a shock.
I knew that one would kind of shock you.
Dang.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4. What can I say about Resident Evil 4 stuff? I've played it literally 30 million times. No, I love it. This is like Capcom has revolutionized remakes. Like they are the go-to studio for remakes. They
Yeah,
somehow make the games look just gorgeous. I'm talking about two and Resident Evil 2 and 3. The game is gorgeous. The gameplay is vastly improved. I mean, Resident Evil 4 is masterpiece back in the day, but it's definitely a hard game to go back and play with the control scheme.
yeah,
They modernized it. They changed like the element of the story. Like even like Ada's mission is a little bit different from what I remember. Um,
yeah, yeah, it's definitely different.
yeah, it's great. I mean, it's Resident Evil 4. It's
Eh,
amazing.
talk to me. I mean, why why is it so low on your list then?
I think strictly because I have played it a million times. Like it's a great, fantastic remake. If this was the first time I've played it since 2006 or 2005, maybe, I would maybe have it a little bit higher on my list. Um, but that's not necessarily like I don't want to shame it that way, but I feel like there's some other stuff on the list that's a little bit higher for me.
Okay,
It's a
that's
great
fair.
game, man. I love it. I mean, I beat it. I played it four times, 4 times on New Game Plus going through, and then did separate ways. So I mean, I put like 60 hours into this game. I loved it. It was incredible.
Dang, so you hated Resident Evil 4? You're making me rethink my entire list. It's all built around Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4 is the game of the year.
No, I mean,
Um,
I
yeah,
think that makes sense. Like with how many remasters and re-releases this game has had, like this release can only go so far, you
yeah,
know?
and it
And
went far. Like it's
yeah,
great. Like it is. I mean, when Resident Evil 2 got announced for remake, everyone was like, "We need Resident Evil 4. Like we need four."
yeah,
And I think they delivered. I think it's still a masterpiece. Like the game is like incredible. Um, they didn't cut anything out, right? Like they did with 3, from what I remember. They did cut out the that U3 boss fight, right?
yeah, and that was added in
That was added
separate
into separate
ways.
ways. So like we got it. I mean,
We
granted, separate
got
ways
it
was
for the price.
$10, but um, yeah, I just thought they did a really good job with the layout of the game and stuff like that. It was great.
All right, quick question for you.
Yeah,
What do you want next between Resident Evil 5 and Code Veronica?
I mean, I never played Code Veronica, so I would maybe that.
Yeah,
Because I
I'd
heard that. I mean,
agree.
I've always heard that that's a really great entry into the franchise, but the controls aren't super good either.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe that. I mean, shit, I take a Resident Evil like 1 remake, to be honest, and have like modernize the controls. Like that could be really cool.
I feel like that
Um,
needs it. I wanna finish that game on Switch,
yeah, I
but
do have it on Switch as well. But
I just don't love the I don't love that type of gameplay, which is unfortunate
that
because
and then
that's
like
what
the
built on
ribbon
it.
thing where you can only have limited saves. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
great. I was using a guide, but when I was playing it, but yeah, I agree.
yeah.
I mean, I don't think Resident Evil 1 or like 0 would be next. Um, I feel like 5 is probably going to be the next one up, to be honest.
I
But
think 5 would be a moneymaker more
yeah,
so than Code Veronica,
yeah, because
just
I mean, you
to be
had the
frank.
co-op in there, like that could be super fun. Add it back in there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I would be happy with either, to be honest. I mean, I really enjoyed 5. Maybe take away that filter, that yellow greenish filter they had on there.
The
That could
filter that was on every other game back in
yeah.
2009 whenever that game came out.
Yeah. So yeah, I would be excited for either one, but we'll probably get an RE5 next, and I'm totally cool with that one.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, give me your number 8.
Alright, number 8, Pikmin 4.
Pikmin 4, nice. Okay.
I mean, this game, like, I'm looking at a lot of the games on my list, and a lot of them, they're challenging, they have a lot of action, whatever. This game is just a joy to
Yeah.
play. It's one of those management games, um, both time management, resource management, that kind of stuff. So that kind of that scratched an itch I had back in July when I played it.
Yeah.
Um, it just has like it has a good vibe to it, Pikmin 4, and it's just a really just a, I don't know how to describe it other than it's just a really lovely game. It's very pretty.
It is.
It,
It might be one of the prettiest Switch games.
yeah, especially seeing all of like the real life objects rendered
Yeah, and
in the
even like the
game.
kind of like the set piece, like in the back, like it
Mhm.
looks really good. Like it's got that kind of like that blurred esque
Yeah,
view, but it looks really good.
yeah, almost
It
looks
feels like it's
photorealistic.
yeah, like it's yeah, photorealistic. Like it feels like it's appropriate as tiny as you are. Yeah,
This is like one of the rare Nintendo games that actually showcases, what they could do graphically if they went in a more realistic approach.
yeah,
And I think this is like kind of a glimpse of what we could see with something like Metroid Prime 4 if Prime 4 continues down the same path as Prime 3 and kind of goes more realistic. I think it could look as good as Pikmin 4, and that's
yeah.
that's super exciting.
I'm Prime 4 might be one of my like more hyped like next Nintendo games coming up.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
just
I think
the
it's
stuff that
my
that I've heard. Um, yeah,
kind of how it's like open zone or
yeah, open
open
zone,
world.
like
Yeah,
almost like Halo Infinite esque. Like
that'd be sick. I mean,
man,
I'm sure they'll have a grapple in there or something like that.
yeah.
Pretty cool.
Anyways, Pikmin 4.
I think before. I still need to go back and do the last and finish up the last like post game area,
Okay.
but the first post game area had a good amount of challenge and like there's like so much content in this game, so much more than
Oh
Pikmin
yeah,
3
yeah.
and
The post game stuff is great,
yeah,
and
like I
that last like challenge, I think it's like 10 stages where you go in like to the underground. There's like yeah, that's a lot of fun too.
Yeah. Yeah, like, compared to Pikmin 2, I played that one as well this year, and
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that one looked.
bought the dual pack, but I haven't played it yet.
Did you buy it physical?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I played Pikmin 2, and that one was, like, it was fun enough, and, a lot of Pikmin 4 is built off of the foundation of 2, but
Yeah.
Pikmin 2 just didn't have a ton of content compared to Pikmin 4. Like, Pikmin 4 is a roughly 20-hour game, 20-hour plus, depending on
Yeah.
how much content you do. I mean, you played it more than I did. Do you remember how much time you had clocked in the game?
Let's see. I got my Switch right in front of me.
Oh, perfect.
Let's see what we got going on.
Let me see if mine's still on here. It's still on my list, or still on my recently played list. Yes, I put between 15 and 20 hours in.
I got 30 hours or more.
Damn.
So
All right, I expect to see this game on your list somewhere.
we'll see.
Yeah, Pikmin 4.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great game.
I would say, like, based off of all the Pikmin games I've played, and I've just played 2 and 3. Didn't play the first one, but it's definitely the best
Okay.
so far.
Sweet. All right. Well, my number 7 is Dead Space remake.
There we go.
Yeah. Again, I mean, this between Resident Evil and Dead Space, I was really just okay. 2 remakes that are survival horror. This one I think just made it a little bit above for me because I am so nostalgic for like the original Dead Space,
Yeah.
and I haven't played it since it initially came out, and I played it probably 3 or 4 times back in 2007. But man, probably like one of the best looking games of the year. I mean, this game
Yeah.
was incredible. I can't remember. I'm having a blank on the studio name, but just
EA Motive?
was it? Yeah, it was Motive. Yeah,
Motive, yeah.
um, yeah, they did a fantastic job with the lighting, with the sound design. Incorporating like the spacewalking and like the jetpack stuff in the game that wasn't in there originally, and then
Mhm.
the fact that they took the ship and made it one giant cohesive like a ship. Like it was cohesive. It wasn't. Yeah, you could use the tram and go back and forth to each station, but you could also walk there if you wanted to. That wasn't in the original game, where it was cohesive like that. So yeah, they absolutely nailed it. It's like to me, Dead Space is like the perfect space horror game. I think it's just
Yeah.
incredible. And yeah, they absolutely nailed it, and it's incredible. I love it.
So, obviously, you like this game a little bit more than Resident Evil 4. I would argue that Dead Space is a better remake than Resident Evil 4 is, based on the grounds that Dead
Yeah.
Space had a lot more to improve compared to
Well, I
Resident Evil
mean,
4.
I don't know because I feel like Dead Space, you could already. I mean, like the as far as like the third person goes, it was already pretty good. Like Resident Evil 4, like the pop and the stop and pop kind of gameplay was fine during the time, but um, I would say Resident Evil 4 probably needed more of a remake than Dead Space did. Um,
Think so?
I think so. I, I would go
Or
back and
maybe.
play. I would go back and play like the first mission of Dead Space and just compare it because it still feels pretty good. I mean, it's definitely not as it's not 60 frames per second or whatever, but it still feels pretty good. But yeah, I think
I guess
yeah.
I guess Dead Space is more recent too.
I
Like,
mean, I mean,
it
Dead
launched
Space
on the
was
360.
'07 and Resident Evil 4 was 2004, I think.
Yeah, yeah, it
So
was
that
04.
was pre Gears of War, which kind of revolutionized third person shooting, and then Dead Space came a year later.
Yeah.
Um,
So it was already building off of the foundation.
yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, maybe
that's good.
I was maybe Dead Space has, like, more quality of life improvements outside of combat
Yeah,
compared to Resident Evil 4.
yeah, I would say
I don't know.
I would say that's fair. Yeah, I would say go back and just boot up Dead Space and just play that first like 30 minutes or so, and
Yeah.
it'll probably feel pretty similar. But
Good.
yeah, I think I just enjoy it. I definitely think RE4 is more replayable than Dead Space was. 'Cause I think I only beat Dead Space maybe twice. Um, but I think overall I was more impressed with Dead Space and
Mhm.
compared to the three remasters on this list so far. But yeah, Dead Space is incredible.
Yeah.
Nick, what's your number 7?
Number 7 is Metroid Prime Remastered.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first time through Metroid Prime 1, and yeah, I just had an incredible experience with it. I think the exploration in this game is absolutely top notch.
Yeah,
I think that's, you know, what really drives this game more so than, the boss fights or, the atmosphere, but just the exploration itself and the sense of discovery and sense of wonder going into a new area. I think, that's kind of an unparalleled thing
yeah,
in this type of like first person action adventure game that a lot of others like they don't really evoke that feeling as much.
yeah,
Um, so I think this took Metroid, the 2D version and really like brought the spirit into 3D.
yeah.
And yeah, it's super cool. Like,
Did they ever have a fast travel mechanic in that game?
no, it
I,
didn't.
I would have maybe have liked to seen that in the game where you could fast travel between like save points or something. Maybe later on in the game, like towards the end, that you unlock that ability or something like that.
Yeah,
just
but
just
I
so
guess
you can
I
go
guess
back and clean up stuff. But I mean, you can.
you can get around pretty fast by the end of the game once you have
Yeah.
the grapple.
Also, did you like the map of that game? I feel like it was a little bit confusing sometimes.
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, it wasn't great. I thought it was
Yeah.
okay. It started to make sense at the end,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
maybe that was too late. I didn't like how I think it was the right joystick controlled like the movement on the map, and the left one controlled like the how you were turning the map. I wish it
Yeah.
was switched. I think that would have made it easier or more intuitive. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
wasn't the wasn't the best part of the game.
No. No. Yeah. Definitely not. But yeah, good game.
Yeah, yeah. I still agree with your sentiment on the checkpoint system, especially in the phase on mines, and that's really the only area that had
Yeah, that's the only
any
part that I
response.
really struggled with. And I was just
Mhm.
like, man, this is like actual kind of BS.
Yeah, but yeah, otherwise, like really, really great game.
Cool. Yep. I definitely agree. All right. Let's move on here. So we are
Going
getting
to number
ready to. Yep,
6.
number 6. You're going to clear up this bottom 5 here. My number 6 is Pikmin 4.
Heck yeah.
Um really not much to add from what you already had to say. I mean, I thought this is probably my biggest surprise of the year. I didn't expect to love this game this much. I had never really been a Pikmin guy in the past. I played the first one. I don't know if I beat it on the GameCube. Um, Obviously didn't love it. Um, and then never played 3. I mean, I played the demo for 3 and always planned on picking it up, and I just never did. Um, and then played the demo for this one, and I really enjoyed it. So I was, I'll give Pikmin a shot, and it's incredible. I mean, I put 30 plus hours into it, 100% of it. I thought all the levels were really good. Um, I enjoyed, for the most part, I enjoyed all the Pikmin. I felt like a couple of them were kind of useless towards the end.
Yep.
Um,
Agree.
but like the post game content is really good. Yeah,
Yeah, those 2 levels are pretty incredible.
yeah. Is that the Olimar levels you're talking about?
No, just like the 2 like main post game
Okay.
overworld areas.
Did you do Captain Olimar's like?
No,
Okay, so yeah. Oh
I didn't.
man,
Yeah, I need
that's
to
like
get
a
to it.
major like that actually. That one's really cool because that one gives it kind of it's like a throwback to the original Pikmin because you only have 15 days to get through it. Um,
Maybe I'll boot up Pikmin 4.
and it's not like difficult or anything like that, but
Mhm.
yeah, it kind of gives those the original Pikmin vibes. Yeah, really good, and it gives like the backstory of how Olimar crashed and stuff like that. So yeah, I would recommend it. It's good. It's only a
It
few hours, maybe
Does it
if
take you
that.
to any new areas, or is it retreading?
Retreading. Yeah, definitely
Okay,
retreading. I
cool.
don't think there's a new area. And I think you only retread like maybe 2 areas. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for Pikmin 4.
Pikmin 4.
It's
Yeah,
great.
I would say Pikmin 4 maybe one of the biggest surprises
Yeah,
of the year.
it's good.
Yeah.
There's
All
already
right.
rumors about Pikmin 5 too. Like that's like getting close to being done. That's what I've heard. So
Damn.
I don't know. Maybe these games are just like not super challenging to make, maybe? I don't know.
But yeah, maybe the what was holding them back was just like them not having a team to focus on it.
Maybe. But I
Right.
mean, apparently Nintendo just holds on to their games. So I mean, maybe Pikmin 4 was done and ready to go in 2022, and they just held on to it. So who knows?
Yeah.
All right, Nick, what
Uh,
is your what's your number 6?
All right, my number 6 is Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate.
It's one of the only games on this list that I haven't finished yet,
Okay,
but I've put about
but you're confident
40 hours
enough.
into it. Yeah, I'm
That's plenty.
confident enough.
That's plenty.
Yeah, I mean that's a long time, and you know, part of the reason why I'm still only halfway through the game, probably less than that at this point, is because I've just been enjoying like exploring and going around and trying to do everything, and I haven't felt kind of the pressure to further progress the story. Like
Yeah.
there's a point in the game where you go from Act One to Act Two, and you can take two very different routes to get to the next area. And I started down this one path and kind of got to the end of it, and I was like, okay, I kind of go back and like see everything else that happens on the other path. So I just went back and started down that, and that's when I left to come down to Florida. So I haven't played it in a few weeks, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, like I like the game so much that I don't really care so much about finishing it. I just want to keep on playing it and
Just seeing.
seeing new content, seeing
Yeah.
new things
I
that
will
can
get
happen.
into Baldur's Gate 3 at some point this year. I don't know when, but I will.
It's really great. It's it's really a really awesome game, even
Yeah.
from someone who has never played D&D before. Like, I don't think you need to have a lot of knowledge of it to go in. I
No, no.
obviously had zero knowledge going in. Uh, yeah, I mean, really, the only reason it's not higher is because I haven't
Finished it.
gotten further in it than
Yeah.
I have. You know, if I was close to beating it or somewhere in Act 3, it would probably be in my top 5
Okay.
somewhere.
That's fair. I mean, but that's still really good for a game you haven't fully experienced everything yet. So that's high praise.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we jump into our top or yeah our top five here, we'll go down the bottom five and just remind everybody. So for myself, got at number 10 Metro Prime Remastered, number 9 Liza P, number 8 Resident Evil 4 remake, number 7 Dead Space remake, and number 6 Pikmin 4. And for Nick, we've got number 10 Super Mario Bros. Wonder, number 9 Armored Core 6, number 8 Pikmin 4, number 7 Metro Prime Remastered, number 6 Baldur's Gate 3. That's good. That's a good list.
It's a good
I
list.
hate Resident Evil 4, and Nick, you hate Armored Core 6. So,
That's
okay.
right.
All right. Well, let's let's go jump into our top five here, Nick. Do you want me to continue going first, or do you want to switch it up?
I'll start this one.
Okay.
All right, my number 5.
Do we want to guess each other's
Yeah, let's do that. Let's
from
do that.
going?
Let's do
Okay.
that.
Let me look at this stuff here. Okay. All right. Number 5. I'm gonna say Sea of Stars.
You would be incorrect.
Okay.
My number 5 is Alan Wake 2.
Okay. That was gonna be my second guess. Okay.
Yeah, this game is kind of moved around in my top 5
Yeah.
over the
Same here.
past couple of days and weeks. The more I've gotten away from it, it's kind of fallen a little bit lower.
Get out of the recency
And
bias.
yeah, just kind of getting out of the recency bias. I think this is truly a phenomenal uh, horror game, survival horror game,
Yeah.
narrative horror game, whatever you wanna call it. Um, I love Saga's portion of the game. I think
Yeah.
it kind of embellishes Resident Evil 4 in a way, except
Yeah.
it's more, rooted in survival horror than Resident Evil 4 is.
Mm,
I don't even know what it would be closer to between that and Dead Space. I mean, probably Resident Evil 4.
I Yeah, I would say out of the 3, this one's probably the most survival horror considering
Yeah,
and it's funny considering the first one wasn't even it was just an, an action
it's
adventure
an
kind of
action game.
game, action shooter, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, this one is like it's like deep survival horror, like,
Yeah.
you're
You are running on
running on empty,
yes,
running on
yeah.
empty the entire
90
time, and
95% of the game you are on E.
yeah, I'm like, "Damn, I have to use this crossbow, and I
Yeah.
can't miss, or
No,
else
no, you're screwed.
I'm toast. I'm cooked."
Yeah, I died a lot in this game, but
Yes.
it felt fair. Like I was it was never the only spot that I really got mad was when you're in the hotel as Alan and you have to do that run sequence when you're
Oh,
trying to get away from Scratch.
yeah.
There's like a run sequence in that part, and there was a couple spots where I wasn't I was not I was I guess touching the shadow people and like it gave me a game over.
Oh, I didn't have that happen.
I probably had to redo that part maybe 5 or 6 times,
Dang.
but evidently I
Yeah, I
didn't have
never
a
had that
problem with
happen
it.
with me.
Well,
I guess I was just, like, really good at the game or something.
I was just yeah,
Just
just too good.
incredible.
Yeah.
No, I died a lot to the bosses in this game. I thought
Yeah.
those were pretty difficult, but as far as, like, survival horror bosses go, I think this one had some
I think so.
pretty good bosses,
Yeah.
I would say. The only and I hate to say this, but, like, the only thing that kind of brought it down for me a little bit was Alan Lake's section. I just think that one wasn't as strong, and, I attribute that to the shadow people that, you know, there's not really, like, that satisfying feeling when you hit them or when you shoot them or anything like that,
Yeah.
like you do with a real person, and that kind of, like, kinda got to me throughout the game, and, by the end of it, I was ready to be done with his section.
Yeah, the vibes were definitely different with I loved um the storyboard stuff with him
Mhm.
and transforming the scenes. Like I love that part. But yeah, I think the actual game like the the fighting and those sections were pretty mid, I think.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, which yeah, I definitely think Saga's portion was way stronger and it felt like a proper survival horror. And I guess Alan Wake was just the first game. It was kind of just like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I think I agree with you for that.
Yeah, I definitely liked the kind of the atmosphere and the kind of middle of nowhere vibe of Saga's portion compared to, Alan Lake being in a version of New York City
Yeah,
and, you know, fighting these shadow creatures that just eat your bullets and
yeah,
don't
yeah.
really
You go
die.
through some
So
bullets on those on that
yeah.
portion.
But that being said, like
Still,
still a top 5 game. Like
yeah,
I think this story itself is really incredible
yeah. I can't
and
wait
really takes a
for
lot of cool turns.
the DLC to learn to finish it up. Yeah, because there's 2 expansions coming or
Oh, really?
DLC. Yeah, because we still, I mean, we still gotta get a conclusion on Mr. Door, like the talk show host.
Mhm.
And then the I can't remember his name, but the police officer that's in Alan Lake's section. We don't get a conclusion with that, so we gotta get that. I imagine, and then
Right.
whatever happens after the game ended. But
Yeah.
yeah, great game.
Alright, what's your number 5?
What do you think it is?
I think it's Sea of Stars.
You'd be wrong. It's Dredge.
Dang.
um, Dredge, man. This game blew me away. I loved everything about Dredge. It was, it's kind of like that what's that term that Nintendo loves? The feel good. What's the feel good term? The cozy game. It's like a cozy game combined
Yeah.
with Cthulhu horror. Uh so it's very cathartic. It's very, you're like, all right, today, I'm going out to sea. I'm gonna get some fish,
Mhm.
and then like the whole kind of the Resident Evil cache case with you have to sort the fish and all of your stuff, and then you upgrade,
Yeah.
and you eventually get a net which it makes it fishing a little bit easier. So you get that Stardew Valley kind of vibe where you can kind of streamline the production, and then the story is really good. I really enjoyed the horror story. All the supernatural abilities you get are pretty cool. Um, all the different environments you go to are are interesting and unique, and there's like a kind of like a almost like a tall tale kind of experience with each of those. They all have like a unique story based on that specific area.
Yeah.
Um, and then while it's DLC, I thought the Pale Reach was also a really excellent addition to the game. I think it's like $6. Um, and that's probably a few hours, but yeah, I just was blown away by this game. I loved it.
Nice. I'm sad it's not on my list.
Yeah,
I really liked it. I just didn't click with it as much as you did, but
yeah,
I can definitely appreciate how good this game is, and I just loved how quick it was when you're
yeah,
transitioning from day to night to day. Like
yeah. Super
this game
super
doesn't
quick.
waste your time. Yeah,
Exactly. I love when games don't waste my time. That's always a good
that's
feeling.
great. Yeah,
But yeah, Dredge is a great game. Highly recommend if anybody has not picked it up. All right, Nick. Well, let's see. We're at number 4 here. Let me look at the rest of my list. Compare it.
because there's some games on yours that will be on mine.
I don't think that has a shot of being on your list. Did you like this game as much? I'm gonna go Sea of Stars. Number
See if
4.
stars again.
Yeah.
You'd be incorrect again.
Dang. What's your
Number
number 4?
4, Lies of P.
Lies of P. I almost kind of forgot about Lies of P. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Lies of P. I really love this game, and it just reminded me so much of Bloodborne. And obviously, I don't think it's as good as Bloodborne, but it definitely got as close as you can get without getting your eyes wet. So I
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this game. I think the exploration was great. All the weapon combinations, I thought that ended up being like really cool.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know, just a really fantastic game. Like I ended up loving it much more than I thought I would. And I think I only played through it once, and then I got up to the swamp monster the second time and struggled with it again,
Yeah.
and then finally beat it. And that's when I put it down. I was like,
Okay.
okay, I'm not gonna finish out this game a second time. But I think its strong point is really its atmosphere in
For
the
sure.
actual combat and gameplay itself, and of course, like all the weapon variety. Um, Weak points, the bosses.
Yeah.
I think you touched on it, but those bosses could have been improved, especially the very last boss, and that one was patched over, thankfully. But it was patched over after I beat it. And I spent
I couldn't
way
even
too
like
long.
fathom beating that boss pre-patch. God.
It's stupid hard. Yeah, between that and the swamp monster, it just had one too many like excruciatingly punishing bosses that
Yeah.
um, it could have been a 10 out of 10 game if those bosses were just kind of locked in a little bit better,
Yeah, I
and then
mean
the,
that's
and the
that's the
parry came
most
better too.
that's like the biggest thing with these games is like the bosses. Like, the bosses have to be they don't all have to be great. There could be, it's always fun to have like a little gimmicky boss in the game every once in a while,
Yeah,
which I don't think there was one in this one. Not that it necessarily has to have it, but yeah, the bosses are so important in this game. Um and there was just a couple that I was just like, man, like this is so dumb.
yeah.
But yeah,
But that being said, I still think it's you know one of, if not the best Souls-like game out there.
yeah,
Outside of like a FromSoft, I think it's really is the best one.
yeah.
All right, what's your number 4?
What do you think it is?
Right, I keep reading, we're guessing. I think your number 4 is Alan Wake 2.
You would be correct.
There we
Nice.
go.
Yeah, Alan Wake 2. Again, not we're kind of getting to the point where, we kind of finish each other's thoughts for the most part, but yeah, I love this game. I loved Alan Wake 1 a lot. Um and the second they announced that this was going to be survival horror, I mean, that's like our bread and butter.
Oh,
And I just yeah, I thought again, so I think Saga's part was the most interesting and the most fun to play, like just going through um Bright Falls and just seeing the weirdness in it. The subtle, it
yes.
just got subtly weirder and weirder over time. Um, yeah, and it was pretty. It was a pretty creepy game. There was definitely some parts um that were scary. Uh, I think while the the detective part was really cool, it was also a lot. Like if you were to like go through like every single new thing you find, you put it on you put it on the detective board, whatever it's called, in the Mind Palace or Mind Place.
Yeah.
And it's for the most part, a lot of that stuff is skippable. And I was going back and towards the end of the game, I was going back and just kind of going through like the folders that were marked that I hadn't gone through. And it was like going back to stuff that was like in the very beginning of the game. And I was like, why? It's like it should have either just made me do this or not at
Caught
all.
caught up automatically.
Because it didn't really matter towards the end. But other than that, like Saga's portion was fantastic. We already talked about Alan's portion was not as high, but definitely had some cool moments with the storyboard stuff, changing the environments. The Shadow people weren't the most fun people to fight, but also like hearing Wake all the time was like pretty
Wake.
creepy. There's some pretty
Yeah.
creepy moments. Um,
Wake.
uh, so yeah, yeah, and then some like the boss fights, especially with Scratch, I thought were pretty fun. You have to incorporate the light and stuff like that to weaken him and then shoot him and then yeah,
Yeah, those
I
were
thought it was
good.
good.
Those were good fights. Nice.
Probably like arguably the best story of the year. One of the like two best story, three best stories of the year, I think.
Yeah,
I
I
thought it
would
was
say
excellent.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went too. Real good. All right, Nick, number 3. Let's
Top 3.
see.
All right, Harrison, be careful.
Yeah,
I think you know what the 3 are.
well. Let me see because our top 3 are going to be different. Let's see. I'm gonna say your number 3 is Resident Evil 4.
That's right.
Nice. I
I'm
got it
I'm
right.
I'm glad you didn't guess Sea of Stars again.
No, no. Resident Evil 4. Okay, yep, cool, sweet.
Yeah, I mean, obviously one of my favorite games of the year, one of my favorite games of all time. Like this, I think this remake was pretty perfect. I,
It
I
was,
don't
yeah.
think, yeah, like anything that was cut for the better, and then of course anything they added was just a bonus. Like I can't even think of everything that they added at the
Like
moment, but
the
like
parry mechanic was great.
yeah, like the parry and the dodge, like that kind of stuff was really well implemented, and then just how they reworked the actual map itself. Like
Yeah,
everything felt more integrated with each other, which was really cool. And then, um, you know, Resident Evil games are just so fun to replay, right? Like
oh yeah,
you always unlock cool stuff at the end. You can spend your CP on various guns at the end of the game, that kind of stuff, and it just makes replaying it that much more fun. Going through with
yeah.
the infinite rocket launcher
Oh,
or
so good.
you know, some crazy weapon, rocket or grenade launcher, things like that. There's just so many ways to play this game. I think that just really lends itself well to fresh experiences each time.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's something you don't see with a lot of survival horror games, but Resident Evil 4 like really embraces the fun.
yeah.
more so than, a game like Alan Wake 2 necessarily would. That one's
Yeah,
very,
I
very
thought
serious.
about maybe picking that up again since they add a new game plus.
Mhm.
But we'll see.
Yeah. I might pick it up too, I just don't know how different the experience would be
Yeah,
in New Game Plus compared to the first playthrough. But yeah, Resident Evil 4, number 3.
sweet, love
Okay,
it.
I think I got your number 3.
Okay, what is it?
Sea of Stars.
You nailed it. um, yeah. See it. This game blew me away. Like I love JRPG games. And it blew me away where I have Super Mario RPG and I just could not. I mean, I thought about it before, but I just could not. It just didn't click with me. I like it. I'm gonna go back and play it, but it wasn't the time for me to play it. And then I was like, you know what? Let me jump into Sea of Stars and see how that goes. And I was just immediately engrossed with the art style, the story, the gameplay. I mean, it just everything clicked immediately, and I played for like 3 or 4 hours, like a night for I don't know a week or whatever until I
Yeah,
finished it. And it was a ride. It was a roller coaster. Yeah, I mean the game never there was never a dull moment in the game. There was always all the environments were incredible. Um, the story takes a turn that I didn't necessarily see coming, and then when it did, I
mhm,
was like, "This is so awesome." Yeah, man, it's an incredible game.
it is. I'll talk about it soon, but, yeah, it really is just like, it's not bloated.
No,
It doesn't try to do too much. It's, like, exactly what it needs to be, and it takes turns exactly when it needs to. It keeps things fresh,
yeah,
and, like, at the end of the day, like, the combat is just fun, and that's more than I can say about a lot of turn-based games. Like, I love, turn-based games, but, a lot of them are
so this is
they
your
kind
number
of
two,
operate the
right?
same. And you'll have to see.
Okay.
Yeah, let's dive into number 2. Harrison, do you want is that your guess?
I'm gonna say it's good. Yeah.
You're right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Unless you
yeah.
just love this game more than I thought you did.
No, I loved it exactly as much as you thought I did.
Okay. Yeah, I mean yeah, you're right. It's not bloated. It's perfectly paced. It gives you a breather in the story when like you need it.
Mhm.
Because there's a lot of stuff that happens. And then once you're ready to continue the journey, it's just constantly new crazy stuff. Um, visually, it's God, I
I
love
love
it.
that art style.
It's
It's my
it's
favorite art style.
yeah, it's so beautiful. Like the animation they add for some of the cutscenes is so beautiful and so well
Yeah.
done. Um, yeah, I mean, there's like I liked all the characters. I thought a couple of them combat wise weren't super fun, um, or super different, I should say. Um, but like all the boss fights were really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's great. It's so good.
It is. Yeah, well, I wanna 100% this game. I just need to get back into it.
Yeah, I do want to go back and see it through. Um,
You should go play The Messenger.
okay.
That is it's this game is a
I think I might.
prequel to Messenger.
I don't know. I don't think I have it on Switch.
It's pretty cheap on Switch.
Yeah,
It's normally discounted to around $8, something
yeah.
like that.
I think it's like what a $15 game normally.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What do you think my number two is, Nick?
It's like, do I wanna be saucy or not? I'm gonna guess Armored Core 6 for
You
number
got it.
2.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I was like, I know he loved this game. I just don't know if he loves it more than what our number 1 is.
yeah. Yeah. Armor Core 6. Like, obviously, when they got announced, I mean, it's obviously the sixth one in the franchise, but as soon as FromSoft logo came out, Armor Core 6, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna give this game a shot.
Yeah.
And it, like, I feel like I've used this phrase a lot this podcast, but it blew me away with how fun it is, how quick the action is. Um, it definitely felt more like in the early parts of the game. It definitely felt like you had to have a specific type of build for a couple of those bosses, and then like after the end of chapter 1 or 2,
Mhm.
it kind of just opens up and you can really just play around with whatever you want, and I really appreciated that. And I for the most part, I think I used the same build for a while, and then I switched over at some point, because I think I needed a more close quarters build to fight a couple
You needed
bosses,
the Zimmermans.
the Zimmermans, and yeah, and I think I used the 6 shooter a couple times too. But yeah, the Zimmermans were goaded. And then once you get that what was it was like the lightning gun you get whenever you fight like the worm
Oh,
boss.
like, the shoulder weapon.
Yeah, but you can eventually get to where you have two, and it just wrecks. So that in the combination with two Zimmermans, like I just felt, and then I'd have like the quadruped. So I was like a big tanky guy that could just be up in
Yeah.
the air, fire my two um
I was just
snipe. I
blasting.
was just blasting, and then you just go in for the kill on when you get close to him. Yeah, the movement feels great. I mean, man, the only problem I think, again, it's a problem in every single FromSoft game. The camera can screw you up a lot,
Yep.
especially in some of those really fast-paced boss fights. Because the lock-on mechanic is not really a lock-on mechanic. It does lock on,
It's like
but
a
as soon
soft
as
lock.
they get out of the way and change or get off your screen, the lock-on's gone. So like I did have to fight against the lock-on mechanic a lot during that game. That's the only really negative thing I could say about the game is, again, the camera.
Yeah.
Other than that,
That's classic. Classic
it's
FromSoft.
yeah. Other than that, it's beautiful. The set pieces are incredible. Um, would love to see an Armored Core 7 like on a proper current gen console or whatever next they have. Um, but it ran great. Uh, the arena mode was a lot of fun. I never did go into the multiplayer stuff, like the PvP stuff, because I feel like I would just get absolutely destroyed. Um,
Oh my god, I'm sure there are some
yeah, some super
ridiculous
super
players.
really good players out there, but
Yeah.
yeah, man, Armored Core 6. I did not expect going into this year thinking that Armored Core 6 had a shot at being potentially number one, but ultimately we all know what number one was.
Number one in our hearts,
Yeah.
number one in our minds.
um,
Nice.
yeah, Armored Core 6, good stuff. So I
All
mean,
right, well,
it's got to be Tears of the Kingdom, right?
yeah, it's Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
I mean, well, yeah, what is there to say about this game that hasn't been said? I mean, this game not only builds off of Breath of the Wild, but it innovates and does its own thing completely with all of the building mechanics and crafting and that kind of stuff. Like, and you don't even have to really mess with that if you don't
Yeah.
want to. Like you said, you didn't use the building that much during the game outside of when you needed to, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do like a ton of like experimentation when I was just on like in Hyrule, like on the ground and stuff like that. Like I did bust out like the flying like go-to little hover device that everyone, like once that build came out, everyone used, and I definitely
Yeah,
used a lot of carts and stuff like that. I did, um, and then I eventually like I was doing a lot of the Korok stuff at the beginning, and then eventually got kind of tired of it. The one, especially the ones where like it's the guy with the giant backpack, and you gotta get him to his buddy. I got a little bit burnt out with
right.
those. Um, but yeah, I dabbled in the building.
You dabbled.
Yeah.
Nice. What was your favorite part of this game? I think I know your answer.
Probably the depths, dude. Oh my, like the fact that the depths weren't even mentioned at all in any of the marketing leading up into the Tears of the Kingdom,
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
Tears of the Kingdom had a weird marketing like timeline, anyways. Like there was just kind of just the trailers, and that was kind of it.
Until like
Um,
April, right?
yeah, and I think they showed one like brief glimpse of like the depths, and we obviously had no idea what it was. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, man, I I had so like the first time I went into the depths, and it's got like that giant like horn, the brr, and then you fall in, and it's just like you can barely see, and it's you go fight your first enemy, and then they just destroy you because you're just underwhelmed or underprepared and underleveled, or yeah, underleveled, I guess would be the phrase.
Overwhelmed and underleveled.
Yeah. And then once you get back in there and you start building some stuff, getting the flashlights and kind of understanding the mechanics of how it works, I had so much fun just exploring. And then once you learn that everything correlated with the mainland, like all
Yeah.
the rivers were mountains in the depths and vice versa. Um, and then like all the boss areas where there was something specific down there. Yeah, man, the depths like I going in, I think everyone was hyped for the
This is
Sky
the Sky
Island stuff,
Islands.
and those were honestly incredibly underwhelming, in my opinion. Like I just expected
Yeah.
more
Wasn't enough.
story going on up there. I expected there to be like, I don't know necessarily civilizations, but I expected there to be people up there, and that obviously never came to fruition. Um, so I expected more out of the Sky Islands. I really enjoyed them, of course, but yeah, the
Mhm.
depths, the depths were incredible.
They were like even that like that dungeon area down in the depths, like that was super cool too. Like it had its own like original content that wasn't, just purely based off of the inverse of
Are you,
Hyrule.
are you talking about like were you this the Sage dungeon, or are you talking about the like the big cube temple?
I think it's the Sage dungeon where like you have
Okay.
the 4 areas you have to go to and get stuff and bring it back.
Yeah, you
You
got
have
to
to get the parts
assemble.
to the
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
that
and
was
then all
cool.
like the like the railroad cart
Yeah,
paths you can
those
go
are
down
cool.
to, like yeah, there's a bunch of interesting stuff down in the depths.
And then I love like I just talked about it, but the cube, um what were they called? I don't remember, but they had one for each level. Like it was really cool. Or I guess no, they had
Cubes?
two, right?
Wait,
No, I
what are
think
these
no, it
cubes?
was three because you would start at the base. Well, I guess typically you would start at the Hyrule. Um, eh,
Like the labyrinths,
yeah,
whatever.
the labyrinths, yeah, and
Yeah,
then it would shoot you to the top, and then you would do that, and then jump all the way down into the bottom, and then fight the construct.
yeah, that's cool.
And yeah, oh man, dude, Tears of the Kingdom, man. It's and
Uh,
I've talked about it before, but like I love Breath of the Wild, and I've always thought about going back and maybe replaying it, but it was a weird time for me. Again, thought about it before, but my son was born around that time. Came out in March, and then my son was born in May. So um, I played a lot. I think I maybe put like maybe 40 to 50 hours into Breath of the Wild initially. Um, but
and you finished
obviously
it,
I,
right?
I did finish it, yeah. But obviously like my mind was all over the place during that time. So I feel like I didn't get to fully appreciate it for what it was. So playing Tears of the Kingdom, I finally got like that realization of like, holy shit, this game is this world is amazing. Everything that they've added, like the whole cave system, like that wasn't even in the first, like in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, that was super cool too.
So they added so much stuff. Yeah, man, it was amazing. It was an incredible experience. I mean, I think I'm like 130 hours in,
Yeah.
and I've done a lot of the stuff. Like I didn't get all the what is it called, like the bubble things where you go in the cave and get the
Oh,
shoot the
no, there's
frogs.
so many of those.
Yeah, I think
I
there's
think
like
I got
80
an
or 90
update the
maybe.
the last, like, main reward. I think I got the set.
Yeah, I got the set for sure. Um, but stopped after that. And there's some other side quests and stuff I can do.
Mhm.
Bummed out that they're not doing any DLC for it.
I know, I feel like they could have expanded on the Sky Islands even more with the DLC, but
Yeah, or just like added in just new
like, use Gemini equipment.
yeah, Zonai equipment. Like that could even be kind of cool.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
also like I felt like that game was just a complete experience too. Like it was a
it
complete
was.
package.
Yeah, I mean, it was DLC isn't gonna complete this game, it's only gonna add to
No,
it,
no.
you know?
It was definitely feature complete. Definitely had some hiccups. It wasn't always 30 FPS for sure. Um, I think that being said, I think if they were to do game like this, get rid of weapon degradation. Take it away. I hate it.
I think
Please take
so.
it away. Um,
Or at
and
least change it fundamentally.
yeah, and I don't know how. Just take it away. Just take it away. Um,
And
and
just have an upgrade system
yeah,
instead.
yeah, and bring back temples. I want proper dungeons.
Because these
Uh,
were better than Breath of the
they
Wild,
were better.
but they still
Uh,
weren't dungeon level.
I just think, I mean, they do it in the game, at various times where they take away your stuff, like for the shrines and stuff like that. Like if you once you go into like a temple, take away your abilities to go through the floor or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Um,
And then you leave with a new piece of equipment
yeah, like, yeah,
that
new piece of like
like a hook
equipment.
shot or something,
Yeah.
something like that.
So yeah, that's tough because like I don't know if I want a third one of these games again in the same Hyrule.
No, I wouldn't want it in the same high roll.
Yeah, I would want something completely different. Um, I love the open world, the complete open worldness of it for sure, but I do kind of miss like the traditional dungeons,
Mhm.
and kind of the Metroidvania-esque elements of the game where you can't access
Right.
a place without a certain weapon or something like that. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
man,
I really don't know what they're gonna do for the next one. Like I have no idea
yeah,
what they
and
what
then I
direction.
just the design of the shrines, the spreading of the buttholes, like you just cannot unsee it. Like
Once you see it,
that
that's all you
stupid
see.
Kermit meme that was going around. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely hilarious. Yeah, and then just I guess um again like major like Elden Ring vibes with just the overall community of just seeing all the Korok like destruction,
Oh my
like
god,
sacrificing
yeah.
the
People,
Koroks, like
yeah,
all that stuff is
sacrificing, blood
hilarious.
sacrifice.
Oh man, it was a great time. Tears of the Kingdom is it was incredible. I think it lived up to every bit of hype that it had and more. So
Yeah. I think Nintendo marketed it at the end of the day, they marketed it really well,
yeah,
where they didn't show too much, they kind of hid the depths away
that's insane.
and
They just
focused on the Sky Islands, and, that Sky Islands were the best part of the game. I really enjoyed it, but
yeah,
I
they were
just wish
great.
there was more of it. Uh, but yeah, the depths was just a completely new experience that no one saw coming, and, yeah, that kinda threw everybody. But,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
my
I
favorite
think
part.
in the next one too, I think if Ganondorf is going to be the big bad again, I don't want to be able to necessarily be able to go to him immediately. Like I want him to be more involved with like the present day story because
Mhm.
I just wanted more Matt Mercer to be honest. Like as a Ganondorf,
Yeah, yeah,
I thought he was incredible, and we just didn't get enough, in my opinion. So yeah, maybe have Ganondorf involved more in the story, like seeing him around. Like, but overall, I thought like this was probably one of the best Zelda stories. Um,
I mean, I think so,
it's
yeah, I
not
mean,
saying
which
much. I mean, the Zelda stories usually aren't incredible or anything like super great, but I thought this one was really good.
I mean, even the story with the Master Sword alone, like,
Yeah.
that was one of the best moments
Oh man, that was incredible.
in Zelda history.
Yeah.
Like that, and then, of course, the end of the game was one of the coolest
Yeah.
moments.
Super
Yeah.
anime toward
Yeah, yeah, very
that
anime.
last fight. Um, yeah, and then just again, just fighting Ganondorf for the first time and getting to that second phase, and his health bar just
It
continues
just
like
kinda
that's like
goes
you're
up
such a troll, man. Oh yeah, dude.
yeah, that was sick. I wanna get back and play that game again.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom
I
is.
wish they had a master mode or something.
See, and that's the thing too. It's like where is that? Where's
I don't know.
maybe they'll do something for like its 1 year anniversary
You know what? It's gonna be Switch too. They'll have upgraded version with master mode and
with some cool
maybe some
stuff.
DLC.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Tears of the
Tears
Kingdom,
of the Kingdom.
number
Great.
1.
Game of the year
Game of the year.
is a lock in. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll let YouTube algorithm pick one of my videos below for you guys to watch. give it a click, and I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video.